Hey guys, Audrey Meyer here. I'm with Adrian Wesley. Welcome to Find Your Superpower, Hack Your Body and Mind to Become Unstoppable. Hi Adrian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to be here.
I'm super excited to have you on the show. I know it's early for you in the morning. It's late for me at night. Just tell us where you doing the light, where you from now, where you live.
I'm in Thailand right now, and it is 6 a.m. in the morning. The sun is rising, so it's a good time of day, and great place to be alive.
Awesome. I love that. I love to connect with people all around the world, right? This is like one connection, and I just love to do that. Yeah. So, guys, thank you for joining us again today. We're going to learn a lot. So, grab a pen, grab a paper. Adrian is awesome. Today, we're going to talk about turning your power on. So, before we go deep into the question, Adrian, just tell us a little bit about yourself and about who is Adrian Wesley.
Awesome. Well, my story really starts in childhood. I had a tragic childhood where a lot of people have, but my mom attempted suicide in grade 7 and died by suicide when I was in grade 10. Developed generalized anxiety, PTSD symptoms, so I struggled a lot of my adult life. And in 2008, I went bankrupt. I lost everything. And that was really the turning point. Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. And sometimes you have to go to where you don't want to be to find out where you do want to be. But I started rebuilding, changing my faulty beliefs, and I became a hypnotherapist. And now I show people how to turn their power on. So I'm very much purpose driven. It's very much connected to what happened with my mom and from my own suffering. So I don't focus on how much money I make. I focus on how many people I can help. And my life has changed drastically ever since I started living like that. So now I live in Thailand. I've got an amazing partner, 3 little kittens, 3 little cats, and I love what I do. So I'm excited to tell your audience about all sorts of stuff and turning their power on.
Yeah, right on. I love your story. And remember when we connected the first time, I was telling you how I love your mission and I wish that it was just spread around the world because we would just be such a better world today. So I'd like to ask you to share with your audience, what is your mission?
Well, my mission started when I was laying on the ground, crying and surrendering in 2008, where my ex-wife left, my former wife left. I was bankrupt. I had $100 in my bank account, and everything was wiped out. I didn't have a job, and I realized I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life focused on an economic transaction. And I had to do something to make the planet a better place with the years that I had. And then it occurred to me that there's all these problems on the planet, but they all stem from self-love, in my opinion, because if you love yourself, you won't go into another country and kill babies to steal oil. You won't pollute in your oceans. So my mission is to make self-love go viral and to turn on entrepreneurial and personal power worldwide. And the underlying theme of that is to prevent suicide. But making self-love go viral, teaching people how to love themselves. It's not taught in school, and it's the most important thing we need to learn how to do.
Yeah, and it's so right, especially today while we're recording this video, this interview, we're right in the middle of COVID. There's a lot of things going on in the world with racism and all this shit, sorry for my French, going on. It would just be, the world would be such a much better place if people would start loving themselves. So we were also talking previously about coming home to yourself. So I'd like to go back to that, and I'd like you to share that with the audience and explain us what you meant by that.
Well, your conscious mind is 5%, your subconscious mind is 95%, they say, somewhere around there. And from about 0 to 7 years old, you're in theta brainwaves, which are the hypnotic states. So you're being completely programmed. So all of us have been programmed by victims of victims. We've been programmed by our parents. They were programmed by their parents, and it gets passed on generationally. And then you go to school and you get programmed by all of that stuff. And then you go and be an adult and you live your life. And like Carl Jung says, unless you make the unconscious conscious, you're going to continue to keep repeating the same things over and over again. So what I call coming home to yourself is usually, unfortunately, it takes some sort of explosion in your life, like bankruptcy or loss of money or divorce or depression or something to rock your world. And then, like I was, you're forced to come home to yourself. And what I mean by that is that you come home after being on a long trip as an adult, and you take you assess where you are, you assess what your faulty beliefs are, you assess what your damaging low vibrational habits and actions are. So you really take accountability for who you are and what your programming is, and you determine where you actually want to be, because a lot of people are living their lives right now heading aimlessly and don't know where they want to go. So it's the GPS analogy. If you want to get somewhere, you got to clearly identify where that is, but you have to know where you are. And that where you are on the GPS analogy is coming home to yourself. And if you identify where you want to be, the GPS will show you how to get there. And I believe the subconscious mind and your body will show you how to get there. But yeah, so coming home to yourself, and the biggest component to it is forgiveness, is the starting point. Because I believe a lot of people have faulty beliefs that they're not worthy, they're not deserving, they're bad because of things, they're not enough. Most people have I am not enough inside of them. So you got to come home to yourself, in my opinion, if you want to change your life and make peace with yourself, and forgive yourself for the things you did that hurt other people, and forgive yourself for not being the person you think you should be, and work on reprogramming your faulty beliefs, because those beliefs are like programs in the operating system. And if you don't change those programs, the subconscious mind is going to continue to create the same reality for you. So that's a shortened version of what coming home to yourself is. But it's learning to love yourself and forgive yourself, and learning to really take care of yourself and how you eat and everything like that.
Yeah, I like the word forgiven, because today we really hard on ourselves, right? And we really don't realize the value what we have. Everyone has superpower. We're talking about superpower, right, Adrian? It's like you find your superpower, I have my superpower. We have value. We don't have the same superpower, but everybody has superpower. So I love how you explain that with forgiveness, because it's so right to forgive, to make mistake and be resilient. So how is the first, give us a little example from when you work with your clients, how would you help them to forgive them?
Well, and I think you said something that's super important to understand, is that if we don't forgive ourselves, we don't allow ourselves to be powerful. And I focus on human optimization, hypnotherapy, and I don't believe I've even scratched the surface in turning my full power on. And that's one message I want everybody to hear, is you're super powerful. You have the power inside of you to manifest whatever you want in your life. You have the power to get yourself out of depression. You have the power to get yourself out of anxiety. And you asked me what would I tell my clients and how would I start that process, and that's the beginning. Because I don't think everybody understands that they don't have to be a victim, that they're creating their own reality. So that's really the first step, is explaining to people that you are a divine manifesting creator and that you are in control of your reality. And then just talking, when I meet with my clients at first, is uncovering what was their relationship with their parents, because you can often look at your parents to find out what your faulty beliefs are, and discussing with them if there are things that happened that they need to forgive themselves. I remember working with a lady that was an online entrepreneur. She was a year in the business, didn't make one sale. She had had a sexual assault when she was younger. We did a session on that. She got to speak to her inner child and tell her inner child that she wasn't bad, that she didn't cause it, that she was, forgive herself basically, and set the stage for a new relationship with herself. And 3 days later, she made her first sale in her business, because we're energy beings communicating with the quantum field, and she changed her vibration and changed her relationship with herself. So that's really how it starts with clients.
Yeah. So you were talking, Adrian, about letting go. You mentioned that quickly. So you were talking about hypnosis, but how does someone can, without hypnosis or without being with you directly, how can someone let go of some trauma?
Well, I letting go of trauma specifically, you probably need someone to guide you, but I think everybody needs to start letting go. And a lot of people call it meditating. My suggestion is not to call it meditation because I think it complicates it for people. But if you're just starting out and you don't know how to meditate, I recommend that you lay on your back on a yoga mat, on the floor, or on the couch, or on a bed. Rest your body, let it rest. You can start to learn how to meditate sitting up later. Put on some headphones. Go to YouTube first and find some delta wave music. I highly recommend using delta wave music. Sound therapy is incredibly powerful and it slows the brain waves down. You can also join my club and get the hypnosis audios that I've created there. So you could use hypnosis audios from the bald-headed bearded beast, which is me, self-proclaimed funny name for myself to keep things light. Or you can get a hypnosis audio from somewhere else, and you can use delta waves from YouTube, and you set your alarm for 30 minutes. You do a breathing exercise. You focus on breathing in and out through your nose. If your mind wanders, you bring your attention back to your breathing and you let go. And when you let go for 20 minutes to half an hour in trance, your brain waves balance and it leads to optimized neural communication, which leads to positive thinking. So I've bounced a lot of people out of depression from this type of therapy. It's super powerful. And most people are addicted to thinking. Yeah. Thinking is the greatest addiction of our time. So most people spend their whole life in a light state or a high state of fight or flight, always thinking, always solving problems. Well, that causes dis-ease in the body. The body can't stay stressed like that. So people resort to drugs. I've done work with addicts, and they all say the reason that they started doing the drugs is because they didn't have any means of letting go. So the reason I wanted to talk about it on the show with you today is because letting go is essential to turning your superpower on, because you need to, when you let go, you get rid of linear thought, you let go of any resistance, and you connect with source energy, and it's the fastest way to raise your vibration. Letting go could be taking a nap in the middle of the day. But you need to, everybody's carrying around these heavy weights all the time and wondering why they're so exhausted. You need to have times throughout the day where you put the cell phone on the battery charger, reboot the cell phone, charge it up, and take a break from all the problems. If you don't, it's gonna weigh you down and you'll never turn your power on. So letting go is super, super, super important to me, especially because I suffered from anxiety and PTSD, and learning how to let go is how I learned to feel safe.
I love that. And especially with what's going on in the world right now, we're in the middle of COVID, there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm not sure if I pronounced that word correctly, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of things we don't know what's gonna happen. So there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety. People are working from home, kids at home, everybody is at home. We suddenly find ourselves with a spouse 24/7, and we don't have our own safe place. We don't have like 5 minutes, 2 minutes by yourself. TV is on, everything is on, a lot of drama in the world. So it's so important to find time for yourself to let go. So I really like, Adrian, how you explain it with the wave, with the delta wave. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's called delta waves. Yeah.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm fascinated about that, about the brain. And tell us about, remind the audience your website where they can go and check you out for those relaxation or those hypnosis talk.
Awesome. So I spent over 2,000 hours in one-on-one sessions with online entrepreneurs and discovered what was holding entrepreneurs back, and decided I needed to spread this information with more than the people I could see on a one-on-one basis. So I started something called Power On Audio Club. It's www.poweronaudioclub.net. And it's an annual membership, and you get daily audios from me, and you get mindset reprogramming audios and hypnosis audios. But back to your question, right now we're in beta brainwaves. When you close your eyes, you go down a level into alpha brainwaves, and then you go down into theta, and then you go down into delta. Now, theta is dream world. You could still be conscious of your reality around you, and delta is deep sleep. So I suggest using delta waves because people are usually revved up here. And then when they practice letting go, the delta waves brings them down to theta because they're so revved up.
Yeah.
So you could use theta waves, but it's sound therapy, and it's super powerful. We're energy beings. If you look into some of the water experiments where they've burst different sound vibrations into water and seeing the different crystals, like when you say hate, the crystal patterns are all distorted, and when you say love and that vibration goes into the water, well, you're 80% water. And then back to your brain waves, it's the analogy I make is that if you get good at letting go and you go into I think it's half an hour, you balance your brain waves. And a lot of people are suffering from depression and anxiety right now because they have unbalanced brain waves. And it's very much similar to a computer, the PCs, where you need to shut them off so they can defrag, I think it is, or recabrylate. I can't say the words, but it comes back together. The different pockets come back together, working together harmoniously. And that's what sound therapy and trance therapy does with brainwaves. And it's incredible to see how different you feel after you use that type of therapy. And if you have the right hypnosis audios, you can do that on your own at home. Super powerful.
So is this something that you do daily, or that you just do when people have anxiety? Or is this something, let's say, you do when you have a trauma, or that you just do it as prevention? How do you do that?
I'd suggest you make it a lifestyle. You do it all the time. If you call it meditating, that's great. Letting go, meditating, letting go. I suggest twice a day, once during the day and once before bed. It's super powerful when you use a hypnosis audio or delta waves before you go to sleep, because a lot of people don't understand that the most important morning routine is before you go to bed. Because what you do before you go to bed dictates how you wake up in the morning. So those few hours before you go to sleep are super important. And I believe it needs to be an integral part of your life all the time. If you watch animals in nature, for example, letting go could just be finding 5 minutes to take a deep breath and let go. I had a talk with a therapist last week, and she asked me a question. She said, if a zebra is attacked by a lion, it goes into fight or flight, and all the blood goes to the legs and it runs away to get into safety. That zebra's life was threatened. 3 hours later, the zebra's eating food in a field. Is the zebra stressed out about getting attacked by a lion, or is it eating the food? No, it's just focused on eating the food. And that really hit me hard, because humans we're the only ones that have that mixed up, where we stay in fight or flight, scared of the threat, scared of the lion all the time, but we're the only species on the planet that's doing that. So maybe that's why we're all suffering from these diseases. So I believe it's a lifestyle, and I believe most people have adrenal fatigue, some level of adrenal fatigue, because they're in a state of fight or flight, and you can stay in that at night. So you have to find a way to feel safe and to let go of all the weights you're carrying around with you drug-free. And that's what letting go does, and that's what meditation does, and that's what sound therapy can assist you with when you're learning to meditate.
Yeah, and I like what you say, drug-free, right? This is so important, because those are tools which are free, or we can do from our own body. We breathe, we lay down, we nap, however you want to let go. It's free. Drugs, first, they're not free, and it's drugs. It's so bad for you, because it's just going to create some other stuff. Adrian, are you able to shift your mind from your favorite, or what are your favorite mood and mindset shifting tools?
Okay, cool. So my number one is letting go. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling horrible, sitting there in that energy is not going to make it any better. So again, lay on your back, set your alarm, put on some delta waves, hypnosis audio, and take a break from all your problems, balance your brain waves, raise your vibration. It is absolutely the most powerful way to create a mood shift. And you can include taking a nap in that as well. My second one is weightlifting, body weight exercises, dropping down, and you're feeling anxious, you're feeling feeling horrible, drop down and start doing push-ups. There's no excuses. You can do body weight exercises at home. Engaging your muscle creates all sorts of incredible endorphins and feel-good neurotransmitters and hormones to be released in the body. My third one is breathing techniques, and these don't go in really this order. You use them whatever means most for you, but I do some different breathing techniques. Something I've been playing around with recently is holding your breath. So if you're feeling anxious, just practice taking a big, deep breath in through your nose, fill up your belly, fill up your chest, hold it in for as long as you can. And when you hold that in, it signals the vagus nerve to take your body out of fight or flight. So that's the superpower thing. That's the thing that's amazing that I want everybody to hear right now. Your adrenal glands are pumping out cortisol and adrenaline because you're stressed. If you breathe a certain way and do certain breathing techniques, you can shift that. You can change that. You have control over what your glands produce and what they don't based on what you think and how you breathe and the actions you take with your body, which is absolutely incredible. Some other good mood shifting techniques are going for a walk is a really good one. It does incredible things for the body. I'm huge into earthing. So if you're feeling anxious, go stick your feet in the earth, go stand on the earth, lay on the ground, and you'll see within 10, 15 minutes, it can go away because the earth grounds you. I'm just trying to think. Music is massive. Music is an amazing way to raise your vibration. I find songs that make me feel good and I replay them over and over and over. And the last thing on my list is inner child work. I'll throw that in there, but speaking to your inner child and you know, there's lots of times I've been anxious and it's because little Adrian is anxious inside of me. And I have to say, hey, little Adrian, you're okay, buddy. I'm here. Mom's dead, the trauma's over, everything's okay, you're okay. So it's having a conversation with your inner child, telling your inner child that they're enough, telling them that everything that they didn't hear, because a lot of what people are suffering from is that little inner child inside of them that's still struggling with things. And it may sound weird to some people, but that's why you got to come home to yourself and you got to start speaking to those different parts of yourself. So those are my top ones.
Love it. And funny, I was just talking yesterday with one of my friends, and he said, I mean, I live in the Dominican Republic. You also live on a beautiful place, and we live on the beach. And he was saying, the best thing I love about that is that I haven't wear shoes for 3 months. I'm like barefoot from my house to the beach, to the supermarket is mostly closed, but I'm barefoot for 3 months and it feels so good. I'm connected with the earth. And we are lucky, right, Adrian? It's like we live in a beautiful place. But I think when you live in a city, and I remember living in France in a big city, always wearing shoes, you don't have that connection with the grass, with the gravel, with the flow, and it feels good. So guys, just like put your feet and like feel the grass and feel the ground. I mean, I love that. Just laying flat on the grass, it just feels so good connected to earth. So I love everything. I love how you're able to shift your mind with those simple tools, right? This is really simple.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, but I think you'll start to find that a lot of what we've been programmed with and taught is the opposite. And a lot of the solutions are at our fingertips. It's just that you've never been trained or taught to use those tools in that way. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot of money to find songs on YouTube that make you feel good and replaying them. It doesn't take any money to go get electrons and get grounded from the earth. It doesn't cost any money to let go and meditate. So I'm big onto things that don't cost money every time you do them. So
yeah, I love it. Adrian, I know you have an amazing gift for the audience. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I created a Mindset 101 course. It's a mini course, but I go over how anxiety and affects mindset, and introduction to mindset. I go over manifesting and mindset. So yeah, there's a lot of great information in there. It's all free. So I'm super excited for everybody to use that and to start learning about how to turn their superpower on.
Awesome. I love it. And guys, just click on the button right below the interview and you'll be able to connect directly with Adrian's free gift. And if they have any question your website, all the information is right below. So guys, connect with Adrian, even if he's on the other side of the world. There's no reason not to connect and just to share how to find a superpower. Adrian, thank you so much. That was amazing. And guys, thank you for following the show. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another interview. Adrian, you have a wonderful day. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. And the last thing I'll say to everybody is you're super powerful and you are worthy and deserving, and you have everything you need inside of you to manifest your dreams. The only thing standing in between you and your dreams is yourself. And a lot of that is just based on knowledge. So start learning, and knowledge and action will set you free. But you can turn your power on wherever you're at in your life. You can rebuild, and I believe in you. So keep going.
Yeah, and I mean, you're the living story, right, of losing your mom when you were a little boy, and then when you were an adult, getting a divorce and other things going on. So everyone can find their superpower and just live the life of their dream. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you a great day.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Adrian. Bye, guys.